Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connections Resource Center. And I am Nat, and I am Connections Outreach and Communications Coordinator. And today we are celebrating Quebec Fatherhood Week, the important role that dads play, and being proud to be a dad. And I'd love to welcome Sachin Zalera, who is the founder of Dad Pub Night. So welcome and thank you so much for joining us. So
Welcome.
you actually, oh, sorry. So you actually run a weekly pub night get together for local dads who want to chill over beers in various local pubs throughout the region. And you're also a proud father of two, and you also are the founder of the Facebook group Ottawa Dads Group. So thank you again so much for joining us today and to talk to us about your group and about being a proud dad.
Well, thank you for having me. This this all stemmed out when our children were born. My wife and I moved here from the East Coast about 8 years ago, and within the first year, my wife was pregnant. We living in Elmer, she didn't have any network or support groups, so she automatically reached out to Facebook groups and found the Elmer Mom group. And I could see how beneficial it was to her. The support, the reaction she was getting, and the friendships that she was making over there. And I thought that was really impressive. And being a new father in Ottawa as well, I didn't have those connections. So it took me a while to form my own. And so, as happens in these groups, when the women all meet together, they bring their husbands. And so I naturally met all these new fellas. But I would only meet them at certain events, barbecues, birthday parties, or whatnot. But outside of that, we never met. So I decided, you know what, let's get together more often. One time we started meeting regularly, locally at a local pub every Wednesday night. So this was reinforced from this article I read in the Boston Globe in October of 2017. Billy Baker posted an article talking about men, fatherhood, and loneliness, how we shift our responsibilities from being a father, and as such, we sacrifice our connections with our friends. And that article really resonated with me and it hit me. And so it really pushed me to connect with these fellows in the area. And so we just started getting together every Wednesdays. Whether we made it or not, we just knew that every Wednesday, roughly around 8 o'clock, bedtime permitting for the kids, we would get together at a local pub. And it was great. There was only about 4 or 5 of us, and we would just show up. But then I thought, I felt kind of selfish containing it, just keeping it to ourselves. And so last September, I posted in a local Elmer Mom and Dad group that a bunch of us are getting together every Wednesday, and we're going to call it a Dad Pub Night. It's an excuse for fathers to step away from their households and connect outside of their family, meet other dads in the neighborhood, so you can have that connection. You can talk about your neighborhood. You can, and we bonded over beers. We started meeting at the local pub, Bistro La Troy, which has so many different craft beers, and so that became a talking point for us. And we bonded over our love of beer.
Now, you guys aren't really meeting weekly now because of COVID. So are you meeting virtually?
We are. And so because of COVID, we had to step away from the pub night. And so we started meeting having Zoom, Facebook group video chats.
I just love the idea of your group. In fact, we actually have quite a few people here. If you can see, there's Pearlie who's saying good morning and saying hello, clapping. And Megan is here as well saying good morning. And Pearlie's saying dads really need to connect too. Amazing. And I agree. I think it's such a great idea, this group that you formed, and the fact that you're also connecting online. I guess it creates this safe space for dads to share their stories and to seek support. So do you find that's really what the group is for?
It is. It took a while to start. It's funny, all the comments right now are all moms. The the first post I ever, first time I posted in my mom group, I think there were about 30 or 40 comments, and I'd say 90% of them were all moms or wives commenting about it and tagging their husbands. And they're talking about just how great it is, but none of the husbands were saying anything. No one, there weren't any men commenting saying, "Yeah, sure, I'll be there." It was kind of a push. The wives were pushing their husbands to get out, because I feel that it's also a bit of a burden that the partner has to bear, because if the father isn't making those connections outside, he's going to turn to the only option he has, which is his wife, and then she becomes the unfortunate burden of all of their anxiety or stress or worries or concerns, and that I kind of feel that's unfair. And so with this great group of dads I've been meeting with, along with the original group that I connected with before, and the new dads we're meeting, we get to share these concerns. Um, one of them, their partner is pregnant right now during COVID. Another one, his partner just gave birth during COVID. We're dealing with anxiety issues, new jobs, job concerns. So these are things that they're a lot more open to talk about, I guess, within this small group of dads meeting up.
Which is so important, right? Because it gives you that space where you feel, well, you feel that you're connecting with other dads who are also feeling these
Yeah,
emotions, and also
you're
going through
not
these
alone.
experiences, right? Yeah. So do you find though that maybe dads are, well, they face that stigma, right? The stigma of being lonely, and that they're not supposed to be lonely, right? They're supposed to be out there
It,
working, providing, and maybe that's why they're not as open to joining these groups.
it's a little bit of pride. It's a pride factor that I'm not lonely. I have friends. I got guys to talk to, but whether or not you actually connect with them and talk to them versus commenting on their social media posts, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of friends I comment with in social media posts, but I can't remember the last time I've actually seen them. Um, yeah, it's also difficult for I've noticed, especially right now, to maintain those connections during the COVID area, and so we really try to make sure that we keep the group open. We have group chats as well, so if anyone needs to talk or ask anything, even trivial items such as last week someone needed to borrow a wheelbarrow, um, we're there for them when they need it. If you need advice on doing something, yard work or home renovations, at least you know that there's a sounding board you can talk to
Yeah.
and reach out.
Yeah, which is amazing. Oh, I have someone here who, Nick. Oh, everyone needs an outlet, and people may be hesitant at first, but you never regret going. Is he one of the people in your group, or?
Nick is someone I met recently, again, through my wife's friend. So he's the partner of my wife's friend. So, which is how most friendships tend to start in these cases. We're forced to hang out together, but Nick's a pretty great guy. I like him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's on here, so that's great.
Hopefully
You're
we can get
supporting.
together. Hopefully we can get together at some point soon.
Yeah, actually, is your group open? Like, are you open to other people, other dads connecting?
Always.
First, okay, so maybe could I link that group in the comments in case anyone is looking for it? I'm not sure how we could do that.
Yeah, I don't know. We've thought about creating an Elmer Dad Facebook group.
Hey, yeah.
Keep that open. Um, one of the comments I did get at the beginning, critical comment, I guess, was there's some dads who don't prefer not to go to a pub. They just don't want to go drinking. And so we thought, well, what other social event could we do? Could we go to the billiard hall? Could we go bowling? Summertime, could we go play golf or anything like that? So I think I feel the group is growing enough that it may warrant a local dad social group. Let's call it.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
And I
And
think
once we have it, we could share it as well if you'd like.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I'm sure there's lots of dads out there who just really want to kind of talk with other dads, and kind of have that safe space. I wanted to quickly go back to the idea of loneliness, right? The stigma of that. And actually, you had mentioned this already, that when dads with people with children become overscheduled, they don't shortchange their children, they shortchange their friendships. And how do you feel about that?
it's I agree because it's really easy to do that. Um, it's so easy to say, well, I'm just gonna not ignore, but I'm just gonna say no to this event, or I'm just gonna cancel this event. It's easier for me to do that than try to create the time needed to go out. Um, I don't know if it's enough unnecessary burden that we feel, um, or it's just me. I don't want to put it in anyone's head. I feel this guilt sometimes leaving my partner alone, because I know that since our kids are younger, 4 and 7, they still have that emotional bond to the mom, and so they're still at that clingy phase, and I feel bad leaving her some days for that. Um, in retrospect, she just laughs at it. She's like, "No, get out. I can handle it. It's okay." And so it took me a while to get over that and understand. And I don't know if it's a trust issue, but know that you know what, she can handle it. I can leave. I can go out this one day a week, and it'll be fine. It's not going to be a problem.
And do you find that by setting that schedule, and I'm sure other men as well do that, that by setting that schedule, you're more apt to go back to it every week, right? Because it's something you have to do just for you, right? For you as a dad.
Yeah, consistency is the key. Um, it's something that I look forward to, and I know that others look forward to, and I look forward to not just creating that time for myself, but I genuinely like these guys, and I like chatting with them. I like hanging out with them. I love their friendship, and I'm really appreciative of them.
Now, I have a big question for you. So do you believe in creating this group and everything that you've been doing as a dad as well? Do you believe that you're redefining and reshaping what fatherhood means to families, to the workplace, and to your community as well?
Uh, um, that's a big big responsibility. I feel like the best thing I can do is that I need to set an example for my kids.
Mhm.
And so if I can show them um, and desensitize them and normalize things such as tenderness from the father, the equality, show them that it's okay to hug your brother or hug someone, but also ask them consent. If they're not feeling it, don't ask, don't hug. I want to normalize things like that. Mom's busy at home, especially right now. Mom's busy working all day because she's got important deadlines. So dad's going to hang out in the kitchen and make dinner and make sure the laundry's done. Um, but these should be normal things, and I don't want to create roles. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I think that's
The thing
awesome.
I can do is if I can, it's hard for me to shape the world, but I feel if I can raise my kids with these values, hopefully they can bring that out into the world.
Yeah, and I think that's perfect. It's one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
So this week is, as you know, is and Curly totally agrees with you. She said yes. So this week is Quebec Fatherhood Week, and the week is built around the phrase "fier d'être papa," so proud to be a dad. So I was wondering, what does it mean to you to say that you're proud of your role as a father?
Um, I just love seeing my kids' faces. I love it when they smile. I love when they're having a good time, and I love when they experience something that they've never done before, and the accomplishment they feel when they do it. Um, and to me, like I just feel like I'm raising them properly. And if they're really getting as much out of life as they can now, versus um, there's so many things that I didn't have. I don't want to give them those material things, but there's so many immaterial things that I want them to have. And as a father, I really want to focus on that. During this COVID and isolation, one thing that has stood out for us is that I brought out the old Nintendo Wii. The kids had never played before, and now they're loving it. And so this is my 7-year-old first foray into video games. Um, and it's also had an added benefit. It's forcing him to read because there's so many messages on the screen. And so at the beginning, I was reading with them, but now I'm leaving him alone. I'm like, you need to figure this out. Go play Zelda and figure out what your next step is. And he's really learning it. And I love seeing that accomplishment he feels. Although I am a little annoyed when he says that he's better than I am at something. Step back for him.
Well, it sounds like you're having a blast at home with the kids, especially now that everyone's pretty much home full time.
Yeah.
Is that going well for you and your wife? Like being with the kids all day, keeping them busy, and then of course working as well, right? Like the whole, it's kind
Yeah.
of
It's a strange balance to work from home and then have someone running around by your feet. Uh, for this meeting, for example, I made sure that the kids were sequestered and they're pushed out of the room and to the other end of the house. But during the daytime, when both my partner and I are in meetings, it's not uncommon that one of the kids comes into the meeting window, and then everything stops because everyone wants to see the kids. But yeah, it's been a tough challenge to keep the kids not only occupied but also engaged, and also throw some education factor, get them to work on their reading, some math skills, or instead of just playing. Um, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge.
and I just saw actually your wife was on here, and she said, I'd say yes, when dads can connect and be vulnerable with each other, it shows our children that vulnerability is okay, kindness and openness matter. Oh, well said. Totally agree. That is beautifully said. So, Sachin, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. This was a really great chat. I'm thrilled that you came on to talk to us about being a dad and about your groups. And as soon as you get them up online, if you do a Facebook group, let me know because we will definitely share that with everyone because I have a feeling that there's a lot of dads out there who just need that support, right? Who need that safe space. So I
Yeah,
wanted to.
and we want to start that area. We want to start that openness.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us.
Well,
And I'll let you go back to your kids. I'm sure that they're waiting for you.
yeah, I can hear some noise in the background. So either the kids or the dog, one of
All right. Well, thank you very much and have a wonderful day. And thanks everyone for joining us.
them. Bye.